Good morning, everybody. This is Judith Lake Hope. You're listening to Mad Love. Let's get into it. That was weak, but that's all I have right now. I don't have my normal energy, and I think it's understandable as to why. But just to give everybody a little bit of an update, I did get approved for my chemo treatments to start. So they're going to start sometime next week. I'm not sure when. And I don't know what that's going to feel like. So just bear with me. I appreciate the donations to the GoFundMe. I appreciate the love, the kindness, the prayers. They do lift me up. If there's one silver lining in all of this, if there was a entity or a group of entities in this world at work, and we know that there are, and they didn't want people to have faith in God and turn to their faith in times of uncertainty and confusion, then this situation has I think made people lean into their faith. And I know that there are people and entities and energies that don't want that. So I'm more than happy to link arms in prayer and love and kindness and generosity, and to make people who are against all of that feel very, very uncomfortable. Because I think what these energies like the Jeffrey Epstein and all that shit that he was into, I think those people don't ever want folks to recognize the power they have through God and Jesus, and the love of what that represents in the world. They don't want that. They want you to be scared. They want everybody to be like, oh shit, am I gonna get cancer too? I mean, I hope not. Please, you don't want this. It's the worst news you're ever gonna get if you get it. But to make people understand that when something this baffling happens, that you can lean into your faith, that there are energies in the world that don't want us to do that. So I'm glad that many, many people have expressed their faith and love and optimism and prayers, and I received them all. And like I said, I don't understand this either. I mean, I've been made fun of for honoring a gluten allergy, for not eating certain foods, for really being strict. When you can stabilize a condition like congestive heart failure, which is strictly diet and exercise. When you can do something like that, I've had people be like, you just can't eat that. I mean, my mom used to make fun of me. She would be eating her little pizza, and she was like, I bet you wish you could have some of this because it is good. And she would just chomp right down in my face. So yeah, this is mind-blowing. It's baffling. And then to find out, like, it's like when people never smoke and they get lung cancer. Or, I don't even know. They're just like, you could just get this. So, like I said, it's been a mind-boggling 3 weeks. This is the end of the third week of me knowing this and basically having my life just completely, turned upside down. As many of you know, I was planning to move to Canada. I was moving to Toronto because it's the film capital of the world now, and I was just going to live a nice, quiet Canadian life and make my movies. That's all I wanted. And then to have it all, like rug pulled and turned into this, so much of it feels like it's just out of my hands. I don't feel overwhelmed. I mean, initially you're overwhelmed because you got like 5 and 6 doctors like, yeah, this is bad. And, they'll openly tell you, like, you're not going to recover. You may be able to stop it and buy yourself some extra time, but there's basically no cure. And it's grim news. Now, whether I believe and take all that in is something different. I've always been open for a miracle. But, I'm not going to sit around and just ignore that this is a very serious diagnosis with some very dire results for a lot of people who get this diagnosis. But like I said, I'm good either way. I've had a really good life. I think people think I sound fatalistic, but I'm not. This life is tough, and it's a lot of people who aren't all that married to it, because we know this is just a temporary thing. Earth School, you come here to learn what you came here to learn. Some of us came to teach, some of us came to learn, some of us came to transform. But you're not going to be here forever. But Americans really have a hard time with death. And I've just had 2 people that I've had to put in a hospice within the last 2 years. And I did not see this as my fate. But, you just play the cards that are dealt to you. And people are like, I just love and admire your attitude. And I'm like, what other attitude is there to have? I don't know how to be any other way. You gather the information, you make the best decision you can with the information that you have, and then you just try to move forward. And, the support has been really, really very, very sweet, very loving, very kind, very supportive, and I appreciate that. And there are a lot of people I love, and I hope this isn't goodbye, and I hope I get to say goodbye to everybody I want to say goodbye to, but I really honestly don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. And, like I said, I'm not angry. I'm not spending a lot of time asking why me. You look at the news and you look at how they just came out yesterday with some report like, oh, the bag says avocado oil, but you're not eating avocado oil. You're basically eating some version of damn near motor oil. And it's like, what is happening? How can you get away with lying like that? And this stuff is inflammatory. Some of this stuff does cause long-term damage in people, and yet the bag makes you think you just bought something completely healthy. The lettuce makes you shit all over everything because apparently the workers don't have bathrooms, so they're shitting on your lettuce. Like, what is happening? The better question is, how do we all not have some cancer or something? Because it feels like they're trying to exterminate us. You go to eat healthy food and then you find out it's not healthy at all. I honestly am really, really surprised at the aggressive, blatant lying and nobody being held accountable for anything. There are a lot of the justice system is working great for people who aren't rich. But if you can just go call President Trump and be like, hey, we got caught doing, fraud. Can you get us out of it? And he's like, sure. That's a problem. So, yeah, I don't know. I have no idea what's going on in the world. It feels really, really unsettled, and I don't know. Let me stress that. But I'm hanging in there. I'm getting ready to start this chemo. I have no idea what that's going to be like. But I am excited to see if we make any progress. and if I can buy myself enough time to make my movies. But I certainly am going to try to start writing. So if I don't buy myself enough time to actually film things, I can leave scripts behind, and some plucky producer can try to enact my vision. But I'm definitely leaving my podcast up, all the episodes, so you can hear the transition from me from 2017 to 2026 or whenever. And, I went from somebody who believed in government, who believed in discipline and law and order and just justice and fairness. And you can hear me just lose all faith in politicians. I worked side by side with a politician. I worked with several, but one was just a politician. They had no other skill. They just were liars. They just lied about everything. And to be standing next to somebody who you know is fabricating everything that's coming out of their mouths or telling a series of half-truths, it's so discouraging. And then you find out Nancy Pelosi is an insider trader, and the Clintons have just body bags all around them and all these weird associations with their foundation. All kinds of creepy stories about them being in places like Haiti and all these predominantly Black areas. Like, what the fuck are y'all doing? And people wind up dead around them. You find out Obama and George W. Bush have known each other since they were kids, because that story they told us about Obama being poor and Black in Kansas with his mom was just a very tiny chapter. She went on to marry one of the wealthiest men in, I want to say, Malaysia or whatever country her husband came from, his half-sister's dad. And they were very wealthy. And he was in charge of oil or something, and that's how he met George H.W. Bush. And then George H.W. Bush would travel to Lolo Santoro's place, and he'd bring his son George. And George and Obama have known each other for years. I mean, it's like, what? And you start putting all these pieces together. So I remember one of the weirdest things I heard last year was John Hinckley Jr., who tried to assassinate Ronald Reagan. His father was the biggest donor to Ronald Reagan's competitor in the presidential race, and that competitor was George H.W. Bush. Like, this shit is all connected. And I don't know, you feel a little naive, because it's like you watch the news, you read these stories, and they tell you these things, and you think, well, that's got to be the truth because it was on the news. But nobody seems to have any integrity. So yeah, you're going to hear a huge transition. And then I've got the caregiver years, which really sullied me on hospitals. And Mercy has been very, very good to me. But this is an acute health crisis. Cancer is acute. Dementia is chronic. And insurance companies have figured out how not to cover chronic illness. So I'm out here bringing my mom to the emergency room because she's not sleeping, and they're like, well, medically nothing's wrong with her. And I'm like, clearly something's wrong with her. It was a very frustrating experience. Those last 3 to 5 years with my mom were excruciating because you're on your own. And I'm not a doctor. I'm figuring out stuff on my own and trying to avoid, Medicaid, because if you don't plan for it, you're going to really be hurting. You're going to really be hurting because, they're going to claw back all this money. They're going to try. It's like, it is rough. And so, it was stressful. And my brother was helping to pay for her care, but he was bipolar. You never want the bipolar dude to be over the bag. So yeah, it was a lot. I've had a very nuanced life. But I appreciate the support. I'm hanging in there. Thank you for your prayers. I receive them. They are working. And, if I could stress anything to anybody, it would be like, please don't delay. If there's something you want, live your best life now, because you're just not guaranteed any more time. You think you have time, but you may not. And with the cancer diagnosis, they start talking about your life in months. Months. And you don't want that. Keep your word, have some integrity, do the things you say you're going to do. And more importantly, give your life your best shot at having what you want and enjoying it. Because the longer you delay things, you just don't know if that's going to pay off or not. Because it might not. And so I say, don't waste any time. Don't procrastinate. You think you have a lot more time than you actually do.